Hey sausage party people, it's Carla. I am here today in my kitchen with another pasta recipe from Where Cooking Begins. Today I am making pasta with cauliflower, sausage, and big breadcrumbs. It is a complete and total riff on the classic orecchiette with broccoli rabe sausage, but I have a couple tricks up my sleeve. One is to make sure that the sausage gets perfectly browned and really crisp, and the other one is a little hack to make sure that the cauliflower is absolutely toothsome and tender all the way through. And at the end, I'm gonna top it all off with some buttery breadcrumbs because there ain't no party like a carb on carb party. All right, let's talk about prep. There's hardly any of it. I like pasta dishes where you can do all of the preppery while the water's coming to a boil, because honestly, that takes like 15 minutes. So it gives you this little area of time to do what you gotta do. One thing to note, it is like a measured amount of cauliflower in the recipe. It's about 1 pound. So that's like a wee little cutie cauliflower. I'm pulling off the outer tough leaves, but I don't mind a little bit of the bright yellow, and just trimming the bottom. In my younger years, I used to be really particular about like cutting the cauliflower and then revealing the florets and then like going in there and cutting off. So I had like floret shapes and then cut them again, or a thing. I don't care anymore. My priorities have changed. So now what I do is I go like this, and then I go like this, and then I go like this. And she's done. You may have noticed that I also didn't remove the core. This core feels not woody at all. It's fresh, it's juicy, it's young and tender, so it gets to stay. So once again, my technique is thusly and thusly, and then goes over there. I have some parsley. This is flat leaf parsley. This isn't a fine chop. I want to see the parsley. And the last thing you would need to do would be to take the sausage out of the sausage casings. You're just going to buy 4 links. You're going to slit them open and take the sausage meat out. I was pleased and delighted to find bulk sausage meat when I was shopping yesterday. So that's what I have. It just makes it really easy. You don't have to do anything with it. Some parm is going to come in later. We got garlic and the breadcrumbs. So yeah, let's rock and roll. Pasta water waits for no one. I'm gonna use this pot for everything that I do, starting with the big breadcrumbs. So I'm gonna start with half a stick of butter, because we love ourselves. This was day-old bread that I tore from the inside of the loaf because you're also toasting it. So if you already had like a crisp and crunchy toasty crust and then you cooked that, it could go too far and get burnt. As soon as the butter is foaming, add these guys. I'm stirring really to fully saturate them in the butter. Now that they're evenly saturated, I'm not gonna stir quite as much because I actually want them making surface contact, which is how they're gonna take on color and dry out. Season them. If you wanted to make a spicy breadcrumb, like say you're using sweet Italian sausage, you could season your breadcrumbs actually with some pepperoncino or some crushed red chili flake, and then you would have a toasty, spicy breadcrumb. Tempting to stir, but you gotta just leave them alone for a couple minutes. All right, that was very quick, and these are very crisp. They're browned, they're crackly, and I think they're ready to come out. I'm not gonna bother like soaking them on a paper towel because we like their butteriness, and I'm not trying to drain it. It's not gonna make them soggy. So while the crumbs are hot, I'm gonna zest this lemon directly over them. And since they're still hot, when the lemon zest lands on them, it's gonna help open up the essential oils, and then the lemoniness will cool down into the breadcrumb. So there's zest here, and there's gonna be juice later. Just take your fingertips and toss it through. All right, my pan is still hot from making breadcrumbs. I'm just going to turn the heat up a nudge and add an amount of olive oil. Even though the sausage has its own plentiful amount of fat, you need fat in the pan. Again, this fat is going to help the sausage to crisp, but it's also part of the foundation and the flavor. It's olive oily. I don't know what else to say. So I have my bulk sausage, making sure the oil is hot, and I'm gonna add the meats. As soon as it gets in there, I want to kind of mess around with my spoon to break it into smaller pieces, just kind of spreading them out, pressing down on them. And then right here, once it's broken up into pieces, this is going to take us right into the key to crispy sausage. The goal and the trick to this little technique is basically to max out your browning on one side. So I'm going to cook this undisturbed. I'm going to let the side that is closest to the surface of the pan take on really all the color. Because if I were to just continually stir this, it would cook through, but there would be no browning on any of the sides. Resist the urge to stir. Do you see me? I want to stir it. Don't stir it, just let it rip. The way to tell that the sausage is browning without stirring it is to keep an eye on the very edges. And you'll start to see around the outside perimeter, all those little craggy edges. You're gonna start to see little brown bits, and that is a cue to you. It's almost time to stir. So I'm gonna toss everything around. I'm gonna reveal the browning. Oh yeah. And even though I want a lot of color on the sausage, I don't want to hard cook and dry it out now because it's still going to get a little bit of cooking action later. So really just tossing it in that hot fat on the other sides to say hello, how are ya? Get a little kiss. And then it's coming out. I have just a wonderful amount of beautiful sausage and olive oil drippings, and I'm going to add my garlic to that. This is going to go quick because the garlic is very thinly sliced. And along with that, chopped parsley. If you have Where Cooking Begins, it does not say to add the parsley in this step. It says to add it to the breadcrumbs, but I have a child who does not like the flavor of raw parsley, and therefore I'm cooking it out with my garlic. That's it. That was literally 1 minute. This tall pot of salted boiling water is going to be both my pasta water and, first and foremost, my cauliflower water. This is the key to perfectly cooked cauliflower. Rather than sauteing the cauliflower with the garlic and the parsley and the oil, during which time your garlic could overbrown, your parsley could get weird and nasty, and the cauliflower, because it's in these big pieces, it's actually quite challenging to saute it in oil and get it to be tender everywhere. So instead, I'm gonna use my pasta water as the cooking medium for the cauliflower. It's gonna season it. It's gonna cook it through perfectly, and I have total control over it. And then when it's done, it is gonna absorb all of the flavors from the sauce. As soon as this comes back to a boil, it's only gonna take a couple of minutes for the cauliflower to become tender and juicy and moist and sweet and fabulous. I have a warm garlic and parsley bath. Take my beautiful bright cauliflower, and I'm using a spider to do this because I want to keep my tall pot of water for the pasta. And now this isn't about cooking the cauliflower right, because the cauliflower is perfect and tender, seasoned and juicy. All I want to do right now is coat it with the garlicky oil, get it to know the parsley, so that when the pasta is done, it can join everybody else in the sauce. I chose a big, gigantic, cool shell for this. Something with big tubes that some of the sausage and the little pieces of the cauliflower and the little pieces of the sausage can kind of find themselves tucking into the inside of the pasta, because we love a pasta tunnel and we love to find like nuggets of surprises inside of them. So these are gonna cook until they're very, very al dente. I'm gonna save pasta water and then, as I always do, build the rest of the sauce in this pan. Back over a sizzling situation. My pasta is very al dente, which is what you want. You can always continue to cook it in the sauce, but if you've overcooked it in your tall pot, you're just never coming back from that. And any water that's clinging to these shells, I am happy and encouraging that to dump in here as well. So now I'm tossing, really just to get the pasta down into that flavorful oil and bring up some of the cauliflower mixture from the bottom. I'm being gentle. I don't want to tear my pasta shape. While I'm here, grab some pasta water. I'll probably end up adding around a cup, cup and a half, maybe 2 cups. It depends what happens. So there's plenty of olive oil that wants to mingle with somebody. You got starchy, seasoned pasta water, and that's gonna start to make a creamy party. Beautiful brown sausage. Say hello to beautifully cooked cauliflower. So there's a lot of really fun texture. You have this tender cauliflower, you have your bouncy and chewy pastas, then you've got like nuggets of craggy sausage in there as well. And to help bring this together, I'm also gonna add some of my grated parm. So some will go in here and some will be for passing at the table. So I can see at the bottom of the pan, everything that was stuck to the bottom of the pan is now been released by the pasta water, and it's super saucy and juicy down there. I'm gonna add the juice of that zested lemon. And in my head, I thought it was like gonna be a little weird to have sausage and lemon together, but it is so, so good. So now I wanna add half of my toasted breadcrumbs. I'm gonna put half in and kind of let them go to that crispy gone soggy place, which is one of the great textures. And they're also gonna soak up, and they're gonna be lemon zesty, lemony, fatty, rich, cauliflower-ish, and sausagey. It's gorgeous, it's coated, it's emulsified, it's fantastic. Asses in seats, let's go. Welcome back to Carla and Sons Italian restaurant, where we serve pasta with cauliflower, sausage, and the big breadcrumbs. Primo? Sir? Secondo?
That means second in the book. I'm excited.
I'm
Excited.
I'm excited. We're all excited here. Ooh, that's a big shell.
I like the lemon in the breadcrumb.
What do you like?
Few hunks of meat.
Meat hunks. Do you know what I like about it? Standing here with both of my beautiful children. If you like the way the lemon brings the dish together, and if you also like the way that the pasta brings the family together, then you are gonna love pasta with cauliflower sausage and big breadcrumbs.